YouTube, Happy New Year and welcome back to my channel. My name is Imani and I am on a journey to stop living paycheck to paycheck, and I'm gonna do it one budget at a time. I took a very long vacation, y'all. I am not gonna lie, I dropped the ball terribly, and I apologize to anyone that it inconvenienced. If you are following along with me with my savings, especially the savings challenges or my cash stuffing, I do apologize in advance. Things happen and I'm not gonna make excuses for it. It is what it is, but we are gonna try to keep it pushing. We are coming back hot. It is 2023. It's our Jordan year, and we are gonna save times 1,001, okay? And I've got plenty of ideas to share. So for those of you who are new here, my plan of action is just a yearly outlook of what I want to gain financially over the course of the year, kind of like a blueprint for me to keep me inspired along the way. If you would like to see last year's plan of action, I'm going to leave the video in the description box below. So pause if you need to, and I'll see you when you get back. And now that you're back and you're up to date, this year's plan of action, I kind of broke things down even more. So much more details. And I'm even going to have some informal videos coming to help y'all, especially those who don't know where to start, like I said earlier. But for now, I highly suggest you start with a plan of action. It helped me save $3,000 last year. Now, do I have that $3,000 right now? No. But we gonna do it again, just like we did it last year. And we gonna do it better. And we gonna do it faster. And we gonna get it going. I always ask myself, what goals do I want to accomplish financially? And it's okay if you don't know the answer right away. You know, maybe you need to look back at your expenses from the previous year, because we all overspend. I know I do. Or maybe you need to talk to your partner or spouse, even a couple of family members, especially your kids, because those are probably the most expensive family member you have if you do have children. I didn't know what I wanted to do right away either, but once I figured it out, I went ahead and split those goals up into long-term goals and short-term goals. So we're gonna go into my Clever Fox, which is also the same book that I used last year, and we're just gonna get started with writing down our goals and seeing what it is that we want to accomplish.
A few moments later.
I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I'm really not that good at doing like live demos, so I made a little presentation for y'all. So we just gonna hop right over into my laptop. Let's get into it. Okay, so these are my goals that I categorized into long-term and short-term goals. Now this year I decided to give myself a little deadline, because last year I thought I had all the time in the world to save up all this money, and time took off on me like Usain Bolt, okay? And so we're not having that this year. So let's start with my short-term goals. I gave my short-term goals 3 to 6 months. This doesn't have to be 3 to 6 consecutive months in my head. I just want to be able to work on them and complete the goals within 3 to 6 months. So hopefully that'll happen. So let's get right into it. First up, I want to be 1 month ahead. And this is in my bills buffer account, which I do have a bills account. I will be going over my accounts and what they're for in a separate video that'll be coming up real soon. So like I said, subscribe, click that notification bell, baby, because I got some information coming for y'all, and y'all might just figure out how to save this coin this year, okay? My bills cost me $825 roughly a month. And so I want to have 1 month of bills put to the side. And I might do this more than once, but like I said, within the span of 3 to 6 months, hopefully just 3 months and not 6 months. I think I'm going to start my first round in March, because I do plan on doing this, like I said, more than once. But second, I want to pay off the rest of my credit card debt. I've been doing this since last year, or even maybe 2021. I've been doing this. My consumer debt specifically was really eating up a lot of my money, but I have finally got it down to a workable amount. And that is $1,960, and that is in real time. And so hopefully I can get that down to 0 within the next 6 months. This is one of those things I'm pretty much giving myself half the year to do, but definitely not more than half the year, right? And so let's see what happens with that. And then lastly, I want to put $100 into my medical digital fund. And like I said, I do plan on doing this on more than one round. $100 is not a lot of money for me and my income. So I definitely do plan on doing this maybe 3 to 4 times. But I put $100 just so that I can have something to look forward to. And that was the point of giving myself a deadline, but also putting the numbers there so that I have something to look forward to. I have something to multiply, divide by time and all of these things by paycheck. So I definitely wanted to put a number on everything and kind of give it a purpose. And so these 3 small short-term goals are what I feel like will help me get to my long-term goals, right? Especially with my first long-term goal, which is my $3,000 emergency fund. I like the number 3,000 for me. It really works for me, especially if I do really have an emergency. The amount of responsibilities, I don't have any children, I don't have a spouse. And so usually $3,000 will cover an emergency for a single young woman as myself. And I'm hoping this year that I don't have an emergency so that I can double it and hopefully save up an extra $3,000 in 2024. But, that's just wishful thinking. I'm also trying to save up a car premium of $3,000. And so I'm trying to get those small things out the way so that I can kind of throw everything I have at the big things. And so that's why I split it up like that. Next, I want to fully fund my yearly savings binder. I will be showing you guys my yearly savings binder in my first cash stuffing video. That'll probably be one of the next videos here on this channel. It's just a new binder that I decided to add to my cash flow. It's to help me with those yearly expenses that I always hate paying for when the time comes. And so I just want to better prepare myself and get that tradition going of always having what I need by the time it comes. I also want to invest $100 into my stocks each quarter, which obviously means that by the end of the year, I would have invested $400 into my stocks. It's probably not always going to be $100, but that's just the goal that I, want to come up with. This is for future finance success. I always pick one goal that will help me in my future because, you don't want to get so caught up on the present that you're not thinking about what can happen and what can change. I definitely want to keep working on that. I've been working on that for the past 2 years and it's been working pretty good for me. My investments have been doing okay for the amount of money that I started out with. I think I started with $20 and I've already quadrupled that money. If you're into stocks, you kind of know what I'm talking about. But if you're not, I am not a stock guru. I'm not the person to talk to about stocks, but I can link some things down below, especially some of the people that I look at here on YouTube. I'll just link them down below for those of you who are trying to get into stocks. I highly recommend it for future success and money. Lastly, I want to have a $2,500 rent fund. I started talking about this last year, but I didn't really get into it too much. And this year I'm ready to kind of stamp it in my forehead because I do want to either move out of my parents' house or move in with my partner because we're in a very serious relationship. So one or the other, and I kind of want to get myself prepared for that. And so those are my long-term goals and my short-term goals in a nutshell. Kind of just wanted to go through them with you for a little bit. And what I mean by my short-term goals help with my long-term goals, obviously, if I have credit card debt that's $1,000, almost $2,000, and I'm paying that off, it's going to kind of be hard to kind of focus on a $3,000 emergency fund where my credit card debt is more than half of what I'm trying to save. And so that's why I broke it up like that. And I hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so once you do that, now that you've got your goals categorized into long-term and short-term goals, I always ask myself, how am I supposed to achieve those goals, right? What's my real plan, right? Like the plan part of plan of action. What is the plan? And this can consist of a lot of things. Usually for me, it's just a couple of tips and tricks and rules. I do have rules that I need to follow in order to just help boost the situation. And so for my plan, this is one thing that I'm just implementing this year, and I just want to experiment and see how it's going to work for my budget. I want to do it to where any income I get that's over $10, any unexpected income, might I add, over $10 is to be budgeted. I noticed last year that I was getting a lot of unexpected income and I wasn't putting it to good use. I was doing what made me feel good temporarily in the moment, but overall, when it comes to the bigger picture, I really did feel like I could have been implementing that money in such a better way, and that's because I wasn't budgeting the money, right? So anything over $10, I'm budgeting. It's so funny because I just got $80 from my partner, just unexpectedly, didn't know it was coming, didn't do anything to deserve it besides be myself. And so now it's like I have to budget that money because that money could go to so many things that I'm trying to do as far as my financial journey is concerned. Another thing that I want to start doing, and this is more of a personal thing, this is how I am taking my finances and kind of making it more personal to me. I'll be making 1 to 3 spending sacrifices a pay period and then journaling that experience just so that I can have a memory and I can be real cautious and have inspiration behind why, number one, why I'm making the sacrifice, and number two, why am I doing all of this in the first place? Why am I putting rules and regulations on my finances? Why can't I just spend my money how I want to spend it? Because I know sometimes that is a thought in people's brains. It happens to me all the time. Sometimes I want to give up. Sometimes I'm like, what's the point? If I die, money can't go with me and all these other things. But when you have a lifestyle in mind, when you have a goal in mind, you do what you can to accomplish it. Doesn't really matter how long it takes, just as long as you try. And so this is going to help me stay inspired. I've actually already did 2 journal entries because for the month of January, I made 2 spending sacrifices. The next thing I'm going to do is start implementing expense tracking. I never used to do expense tracking. The only tracking I was doing was the tracking of my envelopes themselves. But I definitely want to start expense tracking, looking into my statements on a weekly or bi-weekly, even a monthly basis, just to make sure that my money is doing what it's supposed to do and not what I want it to do at the moment. Like temporary feeling. That's just a bad habit that I encouraged myself to do last year, and I'm trying to discourage myself from doing it this year. And so I'll be expense tracking. And because I decided to expense track, I obviously need a way to track it, right? Tracking cash was very hard for me to do. So I will be officially at some point, I don't know what point, but I'll officially be taking cash envelopes out of my budget journey. I won't be having cash envelopes. The only thing that I will personally keep in cash would be pocket money, and that's usually $10 to $20 every paycheck. And I'll just be taking that out one good time, and that's it. That's just for me to like grab a water, maybe an aspirin if I'm out and about. Small things that I might need just to, have when I'm out, especially when I'm running errands or when I'm at work. Besides that, I will be taking my cash envelopes out of my budget journey. So there will be no more cash stuffing for my wallet in general. Everything will just be, any cash stuffing would just be my binders. And I decided to do that because I definitely want to get out of the fear of swiping and not knowing what it is that's in my account. Not looking at the account, just kind of swiping on faith. I'm over that. I'm over the fear of swiping my card. I want to be able to gain self-control over my spending, especially when it comes to the pretty plastic. A lot of us like to go into the stores and we just swipe, not being conscious of how much we're spending, what's in our bank accounts and things like that. And I'm done with that. I want to take a hold over myself, and I want to be accountable, and I want to be responsible, and I want to have discipline over my money. And so in order to do that, I have to have a hard proof of what it is that I'm doing. And if I'm paying in cash, how am I going to know? Because I am terrible at writing this stuff down. As soon as it happens, I forget. and I don't keep the receipt. I don't have time for that. So I just need one piece of paper, one thing that's going to help me. And when I look at it, I need to be able to say, okay, this is how much I spent here, and I can categorize it from that statement. So I will be implementing expense tracking. Also, I decided to put a budget routine in place. And I'm just going to show you real quick how I decided to do it, because I don't really hear people talking about budget routines here in this community of savings, budgets, cash envelopes, Dave Ramsey, that kind of community. I don't hear people say that they have a budget routine. To me, a budget routine is just what I'm going to do in order to make sure my budget is working for me and staying on track. So what I decided to do is, first I will expense track and kind of close out my last paycheck. So I'll expense track and kind of zero everything out, make sure I'm at a positive balance and not in the negatives. I didn't overspend and things of that nature. So I will expense track everything right before my next paycheck. And then when my new income comes in, I will budget it, come up with an official budget. Usually it takes me 2 to 3 times to officially say this is what I'm doing with my money. And that includes completing a cash breakdown. So that way when I go into the bank to withdraw, I know exactly what I'm doing and I know exactly how much cash I need and where it's going to go. And then after I do that, I'll be cash stuffing, and that will only include my sinking funds and my savings challenges, because like I just said, I'm taking cash envelopes out of the equation. And then I will be doing weekly check-ins with my sinking funds and with my sinking funds. If I need to do any tracking within the sinking fund as far as taking money out or bringing money in, I'll just be updating my binders and updating my budget, making sure I'm checking off bills that are paid, bills that need to be paid. Do I have the money? Making sure everything went out that needed to go out, and making sure everything that came in came back in. And I'll be doing that on a weekly basis just to make sure that I'm keeping up with what's supposed to be going on with my money, because sometimes I get a little higgy-haga in the head and I don't remember, I don't recall. You can't get me to remember or recall. So I definitely want to start following this budget routine, and it's just to help me do exactly what it means. Keep my budget on a routine. Go back to my plan. I also want to give each income a job, and I will have a detailed video specifically on this coming up by the end of this month. But I just want to really quickly show you a chart of what I mean by giving each income a job, and we're only going to focus on the column that is for the jobs, and what it's going to do for the month, right? Whatever income comes from that job is going to have a job of its own, right? So my highest income and the income that pays me the most per month, that is going to be my fixed expenses or my bills, my variable expenses or cash envelopes. If you are a person who does cash envelopes, I'm going to use it to take care of my consumer debt, which is anything that I probably bought on Afterpay, Affirm, even Amazon, because girl, they do all kinds of stuff now with this money. And sometimes I do get a little tripped up. And so I'm just using that to pay off anything that I might have put on a credit card. I would consider that to be consumer debt. And then anything extra after all of that is taken care of will go towards my savings, specifically my long-term savings. And if you forgot what that is, I broke that down right here. My emergency fund, my car premium, my yearly savings binder, my investing, and my rent fund. Okay. Second income will go to any lifestyle fees. I'll be getting into the lifestyle fees in the separate video about giving each income a job and how that can help you save. And check the link below. It might possibly be there at the time that you're watching this video. It might not, but definitely look out for it. My second income is going towards lifestyle fees. And then again, anything extra will go towards savings. and specifically my long-term savings. And then I personally have 5 incomes. So income 3 to 5 will be specifically for savings. It doesn't matter if it's short-term savings, long-term savings, savings challenges. It's all going towards savings, any kind of savings. And that's just because I only get paid once a month from it. And it is the 3 lowest incomes that I have. So they're going completely to savings. And I just want you to remember that this is a per month thing. So if you're thinking about it per month, you've already taken care of everything you needed to take care of as far as your bills, gas, groceries, debt, any allowances you might be giving children or to your spouse or whatever. All those things have been taken care of. So when you get these extra incomes, you should be saving them. And that's what I'm going to be implementing this year. Hopefully that'll help me get to my goals even faster. Okay. And like I said, I will be going over all of this in detail in another video. I haven't seen anyone organize their income in this kind of format. I will have that dedicated detailed video explaining how this chart and a couple of other demos that I have will help you get to your saving goals. Okay, this is valuable information. So like I said, that video will be up this month. Make sure you click that subscribe button and that notification bell. You really don't want to miss this because I really want to help you guys. I've been thinking and conjuring up these ideas since last year. And I really want to give you this information. So I'm being as consistent and I'm trying to give you as much information and be as thorough, as organized as possible with it. And that's why I decided to go the digital route as far as explaining what it is I want to do. But until then, thank you guys so much for watching. Be consistent and intentional and take your finances one budget at a time. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.